Welcome back class 10 to the online bio classes. Today we are going to start a new chapter. You can see photosynthesis. The word photosynthesis is made up of two parts. Photo means light and synthesis means putting together. So during this process of photosynthesis, sunlight is converted into chemical energy of the food inside the leaves and the other green parts of the plant, which contains chlorophyll. So what is photosynthesis? It is a physiochemical process by which green plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. They get this sunlight from the sun, which is the ultimate source of energy, and carbon dioxide, which is another raw material required for photosynthesis, is obtained from the atmosphere, because atmosphere contains different types of gases. And the third raw material, that is the water, which is needed for photosynthesis, it comes from the soil, and the plants absorb that water through the roots. So all the raw materials are available, and then the chlorophyll, which is present in the green parts of the plant, also help in this process. Now there is a term, photosynthesis is a Greek word. It was given by, the first term photosynthesis was given by Barents in 1868. In your book it is mentioned, Barents in 1868. The term was given. This term photosynthesis was given by Barents in the year 1868. Name of the scientist that you have to learn. Now what is photosynthesis? The definition I said, it is a process by which green plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. Okay? And sunlight is required to perform the process of photosynthesis. Now next very important part that you have to learn is the equation of photosynthesis. How to write the chemical equation? We have to write the chemical equation of photosynthesis is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, that is 6 CO2, plus 12 molecules of water, that is H2O. In the presence of sunlight, we write it as UV, means ultraviolet light of the sun, and chlorophyll, that is the green parts of the plant like leaves where photosynthesis occurs. So 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives rise to glucose, that is C6H12O6. This is the chemical formula of glucose, plus 6 molecules of water is produced, and along with that one of the waste product is 6 molecules of oxygen is also released, and this oxygen is the one which is used by all the animals to breathe, to carry out the process of respiration. Okay, so next we will study about the steps involved in photosynthesis. Okay, so next is the steps. This equation you can see 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight, chlorophyll gives glucose. The chemical formula is C6H12O6. 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of oxygen is released. This oxygen is a waste product for photosynthesis. The raw material is carbon dioxide and oxygen being the waste product which is produced. Now, what are the steps involved in photosynthesis? The steps involved in photosynthesis are, number 1, or the first step is the trapping of sunlight by chlorophyll. Means when sunlight falls on the green parts of the plant, that is the leaves and the other green parts, that sunlight is trapped and it is absorbed into the plant cells, that is the mesophyll cells of the leaves. So first one is trapping of sunlight. Now this sunlight which is trapped by the green parts of the plant, like chlorophyll containing parts of the plant, it helps to split or break the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. That is called splitting of water molecule or photolysis of water. So water molecule is broken down into hydrogen ion and the other one is oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen, both of them are produced. Now you can see that if it is asked in the examination, what is the source of oxygen produced during photosynthesis? It is asked, like from where do this oxygen come? Does it comes from carbon dioxide, because oxygen is present in carbon dioxide also, or whether it comes from water molecule? Your answer should be it is water molecule, which is the source of oxygen produced during photosynthesis. And then you can find in the third step, this solar energy or the sunlight is converted into, I write it here, solar energy is converted into or changed into chemical energy. This chemical energy is in the form of food or glucose, which is produced by plants during photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide, which is absorbed by the plants from the atmosphere through the stomata it enters. This carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose, means it is the glucose which is produced by reduction of CO2. So if asked from where is glucose produced in the plants during photosynthesis, answer is by the reduction of carbon dioxide. Glucose is produced. So all these four steps are there. Fourth step you can write CO2 reduced to glucose during the dark reaction of photosynthesis. We will study about them all in detail. Now the water which is required for photosynthesis, it is absorbed from the soil by the roots of the plants, and then it is supplied through the xylem vessels to the xylem of the, from the roots, xylem of the roots transported to the xylem of the stems, and from xylem of stem the water molecules are transported to the veins of the leaves, and that is the xylem of the leaves, and from there it is distributed to all the leaf cells, and then it will reach to the site of photosynthesis also. So if asked in the question what is the site of photosynthesis, answer should be leaves. Or which one is called the kitchen, which organ is known as the kitchen of the plant where food is made, answer should be leaves are the kitchen of the plant. Okay, very important concept. Now next one is the volume of oxygen. How much oxygen is produced? Volume means the amount, the quantity. The volume of oxygen which is produced during photosynthesis is said to be equal to the volume of carbon dioxide which is absorbed or taken by the plants from the atmosphere during photosynthesis. Both of them are equal. Now next is what is the importance or significance of photosynthesis? Why is this process important to us? Number one, it produces oxygen, you can see, and oxygen is a very important gas which is required for breathing. All the animals depend on this oxygen because they have to breathe in, they have to take this oxygen to burn their food and to produce energy during the process of respiration. So oxygen is one of the important product formed during photosynthesis. It is a byproduct or a waste product of photosynthesis. Number two, photosynthesis is important because the main product which is formed, that is glucose, that is of food. So it is the provider of food to all other animals on the earth. Means due to photosynthesis only we animals get the food. Means we all animals, heterotrophs, including human beings, cows, dogs, and all of them. Even the carnivores, those who are flesh-eating animals like lion and tiger, indirectly you will see they also depend on plants for their food because they feed on herbivores. And from where do herbivores get the energy? They get their energy by eating the plants only. So indirectly the energy is transferred from the plants to the carnivores or the flesh-eating animals. So that's why we can say that a tiger owes its existence to chlorophyll. This question is also asked. So what should be the answer? A tiger owes. Owes means it depends on chlorophyll for its existence. Why? Because indirectly the tiger gets the food from the plants only by feeding on plant-eating animals like goat, or by eating deer, or by eating any other plant-eating animals. So indirectly its existence is due to chlorophyll, because if chlorophyll is not there, plants cannot make their own food, and if plants will not make food, how come the tiger will feed on the plant-eating animals? Now next is energy and food. I said it provides oxygen and it helps in the consumption of carbon dioxide. You can see that during the process of photosynthesis, the gas which is used is carbon dioxide. Means indirectly we can say that photosynthesis helps to remove the excess of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And if it is removing excess carbon dioxide, it is good for us, good for all the living things on the earth. Why? because it will help to reduce the atmospheric pollution. You know that the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 0.03%, means less than 1%. If the level of carbon dioxide increases due to any reason like pollution or due to some what we can say explosion or due to some industrial work, if this carbon dioxide level increases in the atmosphere, it will increase the concentration of carbon dioxide, and that will help in trapping more and more solar energy. That is, solar energy will not be radiated back, and it will help to increase the atmospheric temperature or the temperature of the earth, which is called global warming. It acts like one of the greenhouse gases and prevent the radiated solar energy to escape into the atmosphere, because it is trapped by the CO2, methane and other gases which are present in the atmosphere. So once the temperature of the earth will increase due to global warming, that will lead to the melting of polar ice caps, and it will lead to the flooding of coastal areas. So it is harmful to increase the level of CO2. Now next we have is the forests are also known as lungs of the earth. Why it is so? If asked beverages, forests are known as lungs of the earth. What is the function of our lungs in our body? It helps in the exchange of gases. We take in a mixture of gases, that is air containing oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor along with other gases. And when we breathe out, that exhaled air, the air which we breathe out is called exhaled air, contains more of carbon dioxide, less of oxygen. Understood? It contains oxygen also along with the other gases. So since our lungs help in the exchange of gases, the forests which are present on the surface of earth also helps in the exchange of gases, that is purification of gas. They take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So that is needed to make our atmosphere clean or to make it fit for the survival of living organisms. Now next topic that we have to do is carbon cycle. Okay, now have a look at the diagram which I have drawn of carbon cycle. It's given in a book also on page number 66. What is carbon? Carbon is the name of the sixth element of the periodic table, and it is found in almost many substances or many articles which we use in our daily life. Like carbon is present in the food we eat, carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. The proteins which we eat, that is also the type of nutrient, contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Nitrogen is also there in the proteins. Similarly, in the fats also carbon is present. Carbon is also present in most of the organic compounds, because organic compounds are formed by the carbon and its derivatives. Means the compounds of carbon and its derivatives is called organic compounds. And organic chemistry is the study of carbon and its compounds. So there is a separate branch of chemistry in which we study about carbon only. So carbon is very important and it is necessary for the survival of all the living things. The main source of carbon which is present on the earth is carbon dioxide gas that is present in the atmosphere. It is 0.03% only. Now this carbon dioxide gas is circulated or it moves. How to define carbon cycle? The movement or the cyclic movement of carbon from the atmosphere to the earth and back to the atmosphere is called carbon cycle. Now what are the different methods by which carbon is taken? Number one is plants use this carbon dioxide and change them or reduce them to the food, that is the organic food. Glucose is produced by photosynthesis. So during photosynthesis carbon dioxide is fixed by the plants, and this it helps to make the plant body or the growth of plants. When the plants will be compressed, they will change into coal, oil or peat. The death and decomposition of animals will also help in the formation of oils. So coal, oil and petrol or peat is a type of coal. It also contains the carbon present in it. When we burn them, like when coal is burnt, the carbon which is trapped in coal or which forms the coal is liberated back into the atmosphere. Similarly, when the animals or the plants, both of them carry out the process of respiration. So when respiration is done, carbon dioxide is returned back to the atmosphere. Similarly, when both the plants and animals will die, their dead bodies will be acted upon by the decomposers like bacteria and fungi. So decomposers will help to release the carbon and take them to the atmosphere. So in this way carbon is returned back to the atmosphere. Two ways by which carbon is taken by the plants. One is photosynthesis, one is directly by the process of lightning discharge also, which is not mentioned here. Okay, and the methods by which carbon is returned back: respiration, combustion and decomposition. Three methods are there. You can see the arrow is pointed up. This one also by combustion it is returned back, and by respiration also. Alright, so very easy to understand this one. Now next is, what are the adaptations of leaves for photosynthesis? In order to carry out photosynthesis, leaves change or modify themselves. Now what are these modifications found in the leaves? In your book point was given. Number one, leaves provide a large surface area. The surface area of leaves is more, and if the surface area is more sunlight can be received by the leaves for carrying out photosynthesis. Number two, upper surface of the leaves contain more chlorophyll. That's why it is more green in color as compared to the lower surface of the leaves. It means more of sunlight will be trapped by the upper surface. Number three, leaves contains chlorophyll, which helps to trap the sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Fourth one is the thinness of leaves. Because the leaves are very thin, not very fat like the stems or the roots, so it can help in the penetration of sunlight to the leaf cells where photosynthesis can occur. And next one is, there are numerous stomata. You know that the tiny pores which are present on the lower surface of the leaves, the number of stomata is more as compared to the upper surface of the leaves. So more the number of stomata means more will be the exchange of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. This will help in the process of photosynthesis as well as respiration. Got it? Now next, chloroplast, the site of photosynthesis. Next topic we have to do. What is the site of photosynthesis? Answer is chloroplast. So let us make it clear. What is the difference between chloroplast and chlorophyll? This is also asked in the examination. Chloroplast is the name of a type of plant plastid. Plastid is a cell organelle which is found in both plant cells, animal cell also. So plastids are found, cell organelles are found in both plant and animal cell. But plastid is the cell organelle which is present only in plant cells. There are three types of plastids. What are they? The green colored plastid is called chloroplast. That is the site of photosynthesis. The colorful plastid, the one which gives color to flowers and fruits, that is called chromoplast. And the third type of plastid, which is without any color, that is called colorless plastid, is called leucoplast. And its function is to store food in the form of starch. So now we have to concentrate on the first one, that is green colored plastid, which is chloroplast. So plastid is a disc shape. In your book also the diagram is there. We need to draw the diagram. I will draw it now. So chloroplast is the name of the green colored plastid which contains a pigment. I was saying the question, what is the difference between chloroplast and chlorophyll? So you write chloroplast is a plastid, whereas chlorophyll is the name of the pigment, means color, which gives green color to the plant parts. Like if question is asked, why are leaves green in color? Leaves are green in color because they have the chlorophyll pigment. They can absorb the light of different colors, but they will reflect the green color, and that's why leaves appear green in color. Okay, so I will draw that diagram after that. Okay, you can see the diagram of chloroplast, TS of chloroplast, or internal structure of chloroplast, in which you can see that if asked what is chloroplast, it is a disc shape. The shape is like a disc, double membrane bound. Two membranes are there, the outer membrane, then we have the inner membrane. Inner membrane is also called thylakoid membrane because it contains these thylakoids. These coin-like structures are called thylakoid, and it is the site of light reaction of photosynthesis. Then the ground substance, which is a gel-like substance that fills, it is called stroma, and it is the site of dark reaction. So here the dark reaction of photosynthesis occurs, and this is the site of light reaction of photosynthesis. We will study about that in detail. What is light reaction, what is dark reaction during the mechanism of photosynthesis. Okay. So this simple diagram. What is thylakoid? Thylakoid are the spherical coin-like structures which are placed one on top of the other to form a ray or a column, which is called granum. And in the membrane of thylakoid, the light reactions of photosynthesis will take place. And you can see one more structure which is not marked here. There are some interconnecting structures, like all the granums you can see, they are the granum. One is called granum. Since many are there, the plural is grana, G-R-A-N-A. They are interconnected, means they are connected with each other with the help of a structure. This is called lamella, L-A-M-E-L-L-A, lamella. Spelling you can check, L-A-M-E-L-L-A. And the gel-like matrix, this one, stroma, is the gel-like matrix which is filled inside the inner membrane, in which both the granum and the granum is located or present. Now next topic that we have to do after the structure of chloroplast is opening and closing of stomata. In the previous chapter also we had done one mechanism, that is sodium potassium ion exchange theory, or sodium potassium mechanism of opening and closing of stomata. So you know that I have to draw the diagram once again. Let me clear it first. Wait. Okay, look at the diagram. This is the diagram of an open stomata. So, stomata consists of two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped cells surrounding it. Like this is the pore. It is called stomatal pore or stoma, and it is surrounded by two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped cells which are called guard cells. They are shaped like a kidney or beans-like. Like this is the shape, outer side convex and inner side is concave. So two such cells are there which are called guard cells. Since it is a plant cell, it contains a very big empty space called vacuole, and this dot I have shown like this, they are the stomata which are present, stomata, they are the chloroplast which are present in the guard cells that carry out photosynthesis. Now you can see that the guard cell has a thick inner wall. This inner wall is very thick. The outer wall, this one, is thin. So due to loss or gain of turgidity, like when these guard cells become turgid, means they are fully swollen, water is filled inside them, it causes swelling of the guard cells, and that lead to the opening of stomatal pore or the stoma. At night, when there is no photosynthesis, that is, the rate of photosynthesis is almost zero, then the guard cells will be fully, means they are not swollen, now they will become loose, or they will lose their turgidity. The word which is used is the guard cells become flaccid, F-L-A-C-C-I-D. So due to loss of turgidity of guard cells at night, the stomatal pore will close. So this diagram shows the closing of stomatal pore, and this one shows opening of stomatal pore or the stomata. Now next is potassium ion exchange theory. In the previous chapter already we had done. Once again I will just give a review of that. Potassium ion exchange theory says that guard cells contain chloroplast. Okay, this chloroplast in the daytime, they will trap the sunlight, carry out photosynthesis, produce glucose. The glucose is converted into starch, and starch is, with some reactions, the starch is converted into malic acid, and this malic acid, starch is converted into malic acid due to some reactions. Now this malic acid dissociate or break down into malate ions, M-A-L-A-T-E, malate ions, and hydrogen ions, that is H plus ions are formed. Now these H plus ions, that is hydrogen ions, they are transported, like if this is the guard cell I am drawing, the H plus ions, they are transported outside the guard cell. Suppose this is the guard cell, the box I have drawn. Okay, so H plus ions are transported outside the guard cells. Alright, because they are positively charged ions, in order to compensate the loss of these positively charged ions, because they are moving outside the guard cells, so they will lose the turgidity. Now K plus ions, that is positively charged ions from outside, which is present, like what is present around the guard cells, they are the subsidiary cells. Okay, subsidiary cells are located like this, you can see in the diagram. They are called subsidiary cells, which are located near the guard cells. So from here only diffusion will occur. Okay, so this K plus ions from these nearby cells, it will diffuse into the guard cells. So K plus ions is coming, potassium ions. So these hydrogen ions are transported to subsidiary cells in exchange of K plus ions, which move inside the guard cells. I have shown the arrow here. This is the guard cell, suppose this box. K plus ions are moving inside, H plus ions are going outside the guard cells. This movement is called ion exchange, and the K plus ions are balanced by the malate ions, which is present already in the guard cells, because this one was produced. Malate ions is already there inside the guard cells. Along with that, some chloride ions, that is Cl minus ions, and also by taking in some Cl minus ions, that is some chloride negative ions, they are also taken inside the guard cells from the subsidiary cells. In your book you can see the diagram is already there, Cl minus, yeah. It is also drawn inside the guard cells. Why this happens? Like one positively charged ion is moving outside the guard cell, so another positively charged ion is going inside the guard cells to maintain balance of these positively charged ions. And you already know that malate ions are also present inside the guard cells only, which was formed by the dissociation or the breaking down of malic acid. So this is also balanced with the help of Cl minus ions, which is formed inside the guard cells. So this ion exchange, you can see here, ion is going outside, ion is coming inside. To carry out this process, energy is required, and this energy is supplied in the form of ATP. Okay, and due to this process of ion exchange, potassium ion and hydrogen ion, there is increased concentration of ions inside the guard cells. Means the guard cells contains plenty of ions. That is, it increases the concentration of K plus ions and malate ions in the vacuoles of the guard cell. You see the vacuole? So K plus ions and malate ions are in large amount inside the vacuoles. So it will increase the osmotic pressure. That will cause a sufficient amount of osmotic pressure to absorb more and more water. Now see, the ions are more means water is less. So water molecules from the subsidiary cells will enter into this vacuoles to maintain the balance. And once the water molecules enter inside the vacuoles, the guard cells will become turgid, they will swell, and that will result in the opening of stomatal pore. Got it? At night it is just opposite, that is, there is no sunlight, no photosynthesis, so whatever malate ions were there and hydrogen ions were there, they will combine, they will form the malic acid. The malic acid will change into starch, and the starch will get stored, and because of this, the osmotic concentration of guard cells, it will also change. That is, there will be plenty of water and less of ions due to movement of ions. So what happens? The water molecules will move outward into the subsidiary cells, and once the water molecules will go outside, the guard cells will lose their turgidity, that is, they will become flaccid, and it will lead to the closing of stomatal pore. Okay, so got it? Mechanism of photosynthesis is the next part, so that we can do in the next class. Okay, only the mechanism part and the factors which affect the rate of photosynthesis. Alright.